Hello, this is Starshot here to welcome you back to my Let's Play of Ys Origin. We last left off starting a new game with Hugo here and going through some of the early parts of the game. And now we're down after getting trapped through the magic circle once again. We now have to explore level 4 here and try and find our way around. So let's go ahead and get started. For the most part, if I recall, the way of getting out of here is very much the same as how we did with Unica's. But of course, as Hugo this time, and as you can see, I'm kind of going all out here, but there we go. I was trying to jump before and it seemed to be having trouble, but it seems alright now, so. So it'll take a while, but hopefully we should be able to get some more blessings and gear and stuff like that, and I guess I'll have to consider kind of what it is I want to do for that at least. But for now, it's very much similar, as I said, to the previous game, or to the previous campaign, except you're playing as a different character who kind of fights differently. And of course there are some slight variations, but as you can see, we're kind of focused more on zoning here, trying to make sure we don't get hit. And we do have a few projectiles here that can try to go through some of what we deal with, but overall, it's very much going to be a very similar experience, if that has been kind of the tale of what I'm trying to say here, but it's still very much a fun game to play through. Like, I would think when it does come to some games, playing a campaign with similar kind of story and mechanics again and levels is probably not as fun as it could be. But as you can see, there are some advantages to it, like that, for example, with the enemy up above there, and how I was able to just fire at him and not worry about not hitting him or having to keep running up to hit him like I did with Unica. Of course, with how long it did take us to play through the first campaign, it is still it gives you a sort of a different take on it, especially if you haven't played it before. But it is very different when you play it once again, like I'm doing here. Especially since I was expecting maybe some more buffs and sadly wasn't getting them. But oh well. As you can see, it's just a lot more firing. Or it's even more like a bullet hell, I guess, than other games, because in this case you actually fire off yourself. Is that oh no, there should still be another area. I just forgot to go and actually look at it. But I'm like, for the most part, this game will take a while to play through. I didn't think this would be a quick game, that's for sure. Like Batman was a little bit. Like, since it only took me like maybe 10 hours or so. And of course in a game like Ys Origins, or any Ys games, you're gonna be at it for a while at least. 20 to maybe even 50 hours, if that's how long it takes. And I guess that's kind of how I always felt like a game. Like, I grew up back in the day when turn-based combat was the main focus for RPGs, but that in most RPGs, you were usually playing for about, 30 to 50 hours easy. Like, sometimes even longer if you were doing more stuff. It was never expected to be a quick game. And, and that's kind of part of what I grew up with. Like, I remember playing through Super Mario RPG, and I think the first time I ever played through it completely, I didn't mind so much that that I only got to level 20, 25 or something, as much. But as I started playing other RPGs and how I, for some reason, like, I didn't get to level 50. Oh, there we go. Getting to level 50, to me at least, feels like the standard level to get to whenever you play an RPG. So it was a bit weird after playing Super Mario again, Super Mario RPG, to only hit like level 20, 25. Even though the game itself is a decent length, but it is, I think, a bit shorter than what some people were used to, compared to the games like Final Fantasy, and even Secret of Mana is definitely a much longer game. So, and probably a few other RPGs, but for the most part, like, sadly I do have to kind of judge a game's worth, at least a part of that worth, based on how long a game is, because when you kind of consider your budget, with how much money you have, you kind of consider, okay, how much value am I going to get out of this game? And so the value is kind of, how long are you going to play it for? And let's go ahead and, okay, we got the Blue Moon Crescent, which was the key we needed. And then we meet up with the Rota here once more. So how does Hugo deal with it? So he understands this is no ordinary demon, but he doesn't find it adorable, I guess. But apparently he knows it's a Rue, because it's strange. And that he's learned that he's transformed into demons by the noxious gases outside. But he still will defend himself if he threatens him. It's still kind of annoying that I don't understand what they say, and I can't remember. I know there's a way to learn, but I forget how. It could be that I won't be able to learn what they say until I play as Tull, since he's, if I recall, part demon. So he might understand him for all I know, but for now I'll just have to, like, I guess I should try to talk to to Rico. Maybe ask if he has a way of understanding them. It'd be nice if he did. Well, I guess Hugo here is alright. He seems to appreciate what the Rue has done for him. But yeah, so as I was saying, so I guess that was part of my thought process as a kid, since, and then of course, for the most part, so I always considered that, and I think that's kind of why I sort of fell for RPGs in the first place. Because most RPGs were very lengthy in kind of how long you could play them for. But, of course, as I kind of grew older and I was able to actually afford more games, I did try to branch out a bit, and I did enjoy plenty of other games. Brave Fencer Musashi, I know was one of the early PlayStation games that I enjoyed. for rent at least. I can't recall when I eventually bought it. But it is definitely a game worth playing, and it would be cool to maybe try to play it on this channel here, but you don't really find it that often available on the virtual store too often, or through PlayStation. I think I do have it though, for my PS3 at least, but there's really, like, that's, I guess, always the problem I find when it comes to trying to play old games is what system you play them on, and how it'd be nice if you could just play them on your computer, like kind of what I'm doing here. There we go. So you definitely have a better time trying to take care of big groups of minions usually, since you're able to just keep spamming your attack. But we finally found our way, so now we can move on to the next, back to this area here again, and now deal with the demon here. Pretty much the same situation, just with Hugo now. Oh, apparently he dropped a mask. Well, as you can see, Hugo's doesn't, you know, pretty much just cuts right to the chase. And apparently she doesn't waste any time either. Oh yeah, so this is kind of the difference here. I get to fight her first instead of that demon from before. Yep, he's an arrogant one, alright. Yeah, well, at least there's some differences here. We get to fight her. Ah, darn it. So as you can see, it's a bit harder to deal with her this time because of how fast she is compared to you. And yeah, sadly, that one just flurry of attacks really did a number on me. So you really do have to try to avoid her as much as you possible until she does that, and then attack like before. Darn it. I sort of feel like I'm not strong enough or something, but that shouldn't be the case. I didn't realize I kept using my entire magic pool there. Ah, darn it. I don't get to jump that well either. Yeah, she's kind of annoying just with how hard she hits. I almost got her that time. There we go. Well, it took a few tries, but he's definitely a lot slower and not as tanky. And now we got the Mask of Eyes back. Yeah, it looks like she has to leave now. And there she goes. Well, at least that was, you know, as there are different events, as I mentioned. It's just I can't remember them all and how different it goes. But of course, I did feel like I was a bit under-leveled, and that, you know, I also, well, he's not as tanky, so that's kind of the first thing. So he doesn't have as much health. But I think the bigger issue was just he didn't move as quickly, so I really need that dash buff that I get later in this dungeon here, or in the water area. If I'm gonna be able to get through this game at all, which I guess is why the movement speed buff is probably a lot more important on him than it is on her, really. But now I need to find Rico again, who's hiding behind that door. Was he over this way, or was he back over this way? I guess let me double check back here. It would be nice if I could get a level or two, but it doesn't look like these enemies here are going to give me much, though. But yeah, so I guess, as I was saying, I think that's kind of what started my... Oh, I'm actually back at the first floor here. Okay, they're sort of just where they are before, so nothing really much changes until I think I find Rico, really. So I guess this is the advantage to playing as Hugo compared to Unica, and that you can just keep firing fairly much and the enemies will take it, compared to finishing up a combo. But yeah, so as I said, the reason why I guess I went for RPGs, and then of course I did enjoy the story as well. Darn it! I thought I'm too used to having to do it right before I jump there, but it looks like it didn't really activate for me like I thought it would. So let me try this again here. Yeah, it really does take up a lot of magic. Nice if I had a bit more, but I guess getting a shield that can tank a hit for you is apparently expensive. There we go. Well, let's go ahead and find our friend here, hiding behind this wall. Yep, we found you just fine, Rico. Yep. Yeah, so, like, sorry if I'm probably reading this too fast for some people, but a lot of it's very similar to the previous text before, of course. So, a part of me, of course, is trying to read through it, but not really kind of bothering to remember it as much. But as I said, playing through the game, you know, take your time, kind of play how you want it. But, you know, I'm here to give helpful hints, or, you know, if people want to rather just watch me play it instead of play it themselves, that's up to you too. That's very arrogant if you ask me. And very narrow-minded too, actually. Oh good, I got the blue necklace now, so now I can avoid the trap. Well, at least we kind of got that completed, and it didn't take us too long here. There we go. Well, I guess technically the, kind of funny, but the trap here actually helps a little bit in trying to get the angle to fight these guys just right. Oh, looks like we have a guest now. Oh, hey, it's this girl. It's pretty much, we met her a little bit in, you know, Unica's playthrough, but of course as Hugo, you I think learn a bit more about Mishka here. Mushka? Still a bit of a odd name for a Japanese game, if you ask me. And apparently he got hugged too. And she's surprised it's really him, apparently. Oh, isn't that sweet? And of course, the older sister type is here too. Or Kadina? Kadina? Yeah, I guess I'll go with that. Yeah, and somehow you got through all the monsters and made it to where I am. Pretty easily. So, as you can tell, Hugo feels a bit more of a competent type of character who's kind of as a fact and maybe knows more than he's letting on to. And of course, he's a more darker character too, with how arrogant he is as well. As you can see, he wants to do this on his own. That would be nice. But yeah, Rico's kind of injured, and apparently we don't need any healing magic, even with all the damage we keep getting. So that would be kind of, I guess, the main difference you see here is that, you know, both main characters will interact with different people in their parties. Well, let's see. I forget how much farther I had to go before I kind of made it to another save point. But it looks like that's probably what I'm gonna do here at this point. So... Or, actually, I guess maybe that isn't the right way to go, because this just leads me to this area here, which I'll have to go through that. So I'll just go back to the tower base. There we go. It's a bit confusing, but apparently that's just how the tower works. But hey, that's all we have for time today, so until next time, or, sorry. So, pretty much we've done quite a bit today, and join us next time as we continue to scale the tower in search of whatever Hugo's looking for, and making as much progress as possible, and hopefully finding the next boss in not too long. So until next time, have fun gaming.